Hello and very happy solstice to you. It's been a tricky week here, so I haven't managed to get all the individual videos done. So we'll see how we get on now. This one's going to go on as long as my phone's got a battery. But this is an all signs reading, okay? I'm going to do a big all signs reading here. Starting off just with 3-card tarot, like I always do. And we'll be using Oracle to get some more significance. And this really is an all signs thing, okay? So right now, I'm shuffling and I'm asking, please give me a three card spread based on the summer solstice, 21st of June 2019, for all the signs, please. Okay, and what have we? Card number 1, the 2 of Swords. Now then, this is interesting. There's a great deal going on in politics at the moment, and it's requiring a lot of us to kind of decide what we think. Not that politics, it doesn't matter as much as they say it does, really, in terms of actual truth. But politics, it controls our world, unfortunately. So it's something that we tend to have an opinion about. I made a political video this morning, which I don't usually do. But anyway, in this video, look, Alice has got to make practical, real-world, pragmatic decisions. That's why she's facing away from the sea. That's why she's facing away from the grinning Cheshire Cat. Okay, so I'm sure now, since this is an all signs reading, it's going to be different for all the signs in one way or another. But we'll get some more significance as we go. Okay, I think that's the best thing to do. So, to that end, I'm opening up. Can you see it? Yes, Work Your Light by Rebecca Campbell, and we'll have a shuffle and we'll see what we come up with. As I say, tell me more please about the 2 of Swords in this reading for all signs at the summer solstice, June 2019. And by the way, these aren't really time sensitive. I'm doing it for the solstice, but the solstice kind of lasts all through to the winter solstice, and then there's another one. So whenever you're drawn to watch this video is the best time to watch it, friends. That's I'm sure of that, actually. That's the kind of happenstance way things go. YouTube isn't quite so keen on that, really. They like to kind of have everything predictable and in a particular way. But there we go. They do actually let us go outside the box a fair bit, so I'm going to take advantage of that now. And outside the box we go. And, a card has just fallen off the top of my tarot deck, so I guess I'm meant to bring this one out as well, because I was saying tell me some more about the 2 of Swords in this reading for all signs. Right, King of Cups has come out. In fact, now the cups are all about our heart's desire, our emotions, and there are star signs associated with this as well. But really, this is an all signs reading, so I'm not looking at that so much as the fact that it's the cups and it's the King of Cups. Right, so I feel a lot of regulation around, actually, as I just tune into what the King is all about there. I feel there's a lot of regulation around that's kind of really making this decision difficult, because nowadays in the world, you've kind of pretty much got to say what you want immediately. You kind of don't get a chance to think about things as much as you used to. So be aware of that, friends. It looks like things are strongly regulated. However, the King of Cups here is holding up. Let me just count them before I show you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can't count them. He's either got 7 or 8 playing cards in his hand there, I can't tell. So I'm guessing that's telling us something that things just really aren't clear. Yeah, and he is at a slanted angle as well, which in the tarot usually means that things aren't exactly as they seem. Okay, so as we're looking at the real world and trying to make our decisions, it's very difficult, and this is what's wrong with politics. It's very difficult to really know what's going on with politics. It's just that politics control the world so much. But never mind, people have always somehow managed to rise above politics. That's the thing. And they don't talk much about that because it makes them look as if they haven't got as much power as they'd like to have. But no, it's a true thing. So keep it real, guys. That's what I'm saying here. Whatever the politicians are saying, and whatever anybody says, really, to try and make you kind of feel like you're held down and your opinion doesn't matter and you're sort of worthless. That's just the way the world's going at the moment. There is nothing, my friends, in this life that is anything like as important as actually being a human being. If you're a cat, there's nothing as important as being a cat. What I'm saying is we've got to be ourselves. You've got to be you. I've got to be me. And that is why, friends, I'm slowly bringing the Oracle into this. And I'm going to stick with the tarot as well. I enjoy the tarot. I've read it since 1985. But I also really like the oracle, and that's just what I feel like kind of bringing more and more into these readings. It's a lovely, gentle energy. And this deck, Work Your Light by Rebecca Campbell, really is fantastic. We're focusing on the positives here. So I've asked for some more significance again on that Two of Cups card, because I want to go deep as I can. I'm going to try and make this a longish video and go as deep as I can with this. And here we have Star Mother. Let me have a quick read of what it says. How can you mother yourself? Okay, guys. Well, the first thing I'm thinking, because this deck is a deck I use for spiritualist mediumship a lot, is that we're looking at ancestors here and family, because that whole idea of mother, you know, it's not just your own mother, it's kind of, it's who her mother. If I think of my mother, I think about my grandmother, who's sadly passed away, and, you know, all the things she taught my mother. I still know and understand things from my grandmother because they passed into the family. So there's great ancestral love and strength behind every single one of us, my friends. There is just no doubt about that. As a medium, when I tune in, it's always there. And I'm asserting it here, okay? But, you know, mother yourself. We've got to mother ourselves a fair bit in this life now, because the ways of the world are constantly trying to make us feel as if we don't matter as much as all the other stuff that, you know, I don't know, whatever they want to put on the news, that kind of thing, what they think matters, right? Think about what you think matters, friends, okay? And moving forward is a wonderful thing to do. You can see here we're moving forward into lots of spots of light, sparks of light everywhere. And the great thing about those sparks of light, friends, is that as we follow the spiritual path, every one of us, excuse me, every one of us becomes a little point of light somewhere in the world. And as we grow that light, then slowly our light joins up with other people's lights and lives, and you end up with this massive light covering the whole earth. There's a Christian hymn about it. It says something like, "Till the earth shall be filled with the glory of God and the waters cover the sea." Well, the waters have been covering the sea for a long time, but I guess that's like when the Psalms say the folds shall be full of sheep. They will be, and they are already. It's just saying that things are going to be good going forward, you know, because we all have got that light, and it is a true light, you know. Every one of us kind of has a heart that beats with some kind of true light. We have some kind of true light in our minds from what we've learned as we've gone through life, from injustices we've seen, from things we've seen that we thought were injustices and then learned something different. But learning all the time, guys. Look at the healing here. Okay, so in terms of mothering yourself, I'm asking you to think about making that spark of light that we all have right in the heart of all of us, make that grow. It's good to link to other people, it's good to network, you know, but the main thing to start with is work on that spark of light within yourself. Just visualize it getting bigger and bigger all the time. It's something we always do when we're looking towards starting spiritual work, actually. It's sort of part of my routine to do that every time. But really, as important as it is to close down when we stop doing spiritual work, so we don't like have a heart attack and explode or something, because it's massive amount of energy, it is actually quite important to keep on top of it. Okay, now there are roses everywhere in this. This is actually making me think of my mother a bit. Perhaps they make you think of your mother, I don't know. But this lady looks a lot like Jesus' mother, Mary, and she was a real star mother if ever there was one. They call her the BVM in certain kind of theological circles, the Blessed Virgin Mary. I just think it's really funny to call someone the BVM. It kind of takes all the life out of it. But isn't that just the way of things, my friends? Isn't that just the very way of things? Okay, so mother yourself, right? We've got the Two of Swords here. This is a decision to make. Make this decision so that it suits you as well as suiting everybody else in the picture. In fact, I'd say make it suit you more than it... Oh, that's the wrong way of putting it. Make it suit you before you think of it having to suit other people, okay? This is a put yourself first thing here. Alice has really got to decide this for herself, so she's not even looking at the grinning Cheshire Cat. Right, so okay, that, believe it or not, is card number 1, my friends. We will keep moving in this reading for all signs for the summer solstice, June the 21st, 2019, but it's not time sensitive. The best time to watch this, friends, is when you're drawn to it. I keep saying that because I keep believing it. Okay. And as I say that, I'm thinking something about, you know, words have a power, you know, they really do. way back in Hebrew times, the time when the Old Testament of the Bible books were being written, which is a vast amount of time actually. But back then, it was believed that words have a spiritual power, and it's not so much the vowels, it's the consonants, the t, p, f, all those sounds, the harder sounds, were believed to have magical powers. And that, friends, is why in those days you were not allowed to speak the name of God, because the words were supposed to be powerful. It's also why these days, when we're working with the angels or anything to do with spirituality, really, we're encouraged to make incantations, mantras, chants, and it's good to say them out loud rather than just in your head. But it's okay to whisper them. Why? Because of those consonants, because words have a power. And the middle card of this spread, my friends, is the Ace of Pentacles. So as that came into my head there, I'm sure we are actually looking at some kind of power. Well, we're bound to be, aren't we? And I think that's the direction it lies in. So there's alchemy indicated here in a big way. And so as I was talking about that thing of consonants having magic, maybe you knew that already. The information's out there. But I found it out in a college in darkest Wales about 35, 40 years ago. So I know that it's not information that people generally know. So, if you did know it, I apologise. But if you didn't, take it on board, friends. Words are a kind of alchemy, okay? So as we're looking at the alchemy in this card, the Ace of Pentacles, remember words, and you might need to say things. You might need to say something to someone to get the energy unstuck and to get things moving. But this is solstice time. It's a time of new energy coming in. It's a time of things taking off. That's what it's all about. Okay, so Ace of Pentacles here. We've got the pentacle, of course, that we all know and love, and it's turned itself somehow. It's replicated itself. There's a beautiful cake here, but we've still got the pentacle. So we can have our cake and eat it and go and buy another cake. So I guess that's pretty good, really. It's not exactly having your cake and eating it, but it's very close to it. Having your cake. Make it your cake, friends. It's your energy that really matters in the work you do, and that's not a selfish thing. You can't pour from an empty vessel. So do something for yourself there. Okay, that's what really strongly comes out of that for me. Let's go into, I was going to go into Work Your Light because I love that deck, but a voice said, no, don't do that one, do this one instead. Okay, so we'll get come on. We'll get a card from Keepers of the Light, a wonderful deck by Kyle Gray, another deck I really enjoy working with. Quite a modern deck, and a lot in this deck is very close to Doreen Virtue's ancient Ascended Masters deck. Where is it? Yeah, this one. This old such I love this deck. It's just this Kyle Gray deck is a very new expression of it, with a lot of stuff that's been learned since this one came out. More readings in the future from this deck, though. I love the Ascended Masters. Always something intense when that comes up. And since I'm drawn to a deck that I feel is very similar to that, Kyle Gray's Keepers of the Light, I'm going to shuffle that one and tell us some more, please, about the Ace of Pentacles in this reading for all signs, which I'm doing for the 21st of June 2019, but which is not time sensitive and can be watched whenever people want to. Right, what have we got? Saint Germain. Now, he is just I think Saint Germain is great. I can't think of a way of expressing how much I love Saint Germain without saying a rude word, so I'm not going to. But Saint Germain is fantastic. He isn't actually a Christian saint in that sense of the word. He was the Count of Saint Germain, which is a place in France. Dedicated to a Saint Germain, no doubt, but he was the Count of Saint Germain. And, it's kind of like, in British royal circles, if there's the Duke of Cornwall, people will just call him Cornwall, as if he kind of owns the whole of Cornwall, which, the powers that be no doubt would like someone to own a whole thing so they could control it. But nobody owns absolutely everything, really. Saint Germain, though, is the keeper of the ninth ray, the violet flame, the violet fire, transformation, transmutation. It is all possible. All things are possible with Saint Germain helping you, as long as you hold the intent that everything you want to do and achieve is for the highest good of all concerned, not just you. Then things will really go your way. That's what I reckon. Okay, just got to have that affirmation that, we understand we live in a world with other people. We all have to kind of, as we balance our own life, we all have to balance our lives with other people's lives. Okay. Now, the message on this is karma releasing. Move me beyond drama. Create your own path. Make room for good energy. Yeah, now there's loads of not so good energy flying around in the world today, particularly on the internet. I hate to say it, but it's flying around, it's everywhere. But it's facts of life, friends. That's the way it is, facts of life. We actually do live in this life, in this world, and the only real way to transcend it is to lift our thoughts to the heavens, lift our thoughts to the higher realms, be thinking about the highest good for all concerned, and make sure that includes you, friends, because you're one of all concerned. Right, so that's a bit more significance for the Ace of Pentacles there. The Pentacles symbol, by the way, it's kind of, it's all the elements, earth, wind, fire and water. Earth, air, fire and water. I'm just thinking of that famous 1970s band, Were They Not the Nuts, my friend? Earth, air, fire and water, under the control of the divine, under the control of the spiritual. Which is a great thing, actually, because we are actually all under the control, I'm not going to say of God, but certainly of the divine, which could very well be a divine side of our own selves. But you see, there is no time in the world of spirit, no time in the afterlife. It doesn't matter. The laws of physics don't come into it. So there's no reason why, just because we're living an incarnated, realish life, and I say realish, life in this world, there's no reason why we wouldn't actually be still in the afterlife in some form. A little part of every one of us still lives in the spirit realm, friends, okay? And it has a great overview, so try and link into that. That's going to make quite a big difference. I'm going to ask for one more card. Actually, we did 3 cards for the Two of Swords, so let's do 3 cards for the Ace of Pentacles. So we've got the Ace of Pentacles, we've got Saint Germain, I've had a good shuffle, and we've got the Hermit. Now this is telling us how we might make these changes, or how, it's not so much about change, about progress, about getting further forward on our journey. And that can be a change when the energy has been stuck. And friends, as I've been doing the weekly readings this year, there's been a lot of stuck energy. So far I haven't seen it. I suppose there's something a little bit stuck about the Two of Swords there, but that's a decision that's going to happen. See the signs here, they're pointing in 2 different directions. She's going to have to go in one of those directions. Anyway, Ace of Pentacles, and then we got Saint Germain, and it's karma releasing, move beyond drama, create your own path, make room for good energy. How are you going to do that, friends? The Hermit card. Now this is a card of big transformation, even though it kind of points to not doing too much. It points to taking a bit of a rest, taking a break, being a little bit away from the world and allowing those spiritual truths and realities to take root in your heart and become real. Alice is waving goodbye to him rather sadly, and it doesn't look a happy scene, but it can be like that when we retreat from the world. The fact is we do it for reasons that other people don't understand. When it's the Hermit card, it's something that we've got to kind of retreat, and it'll do us good, but other people don't understand why. Now Alice is rather tearful and waving her hanky to say goodbye to him. I see an element of the white flag of peace in there as well. Not sure where that came from, but there we go, I can see it. And he's going away, and she's so sad because she absolutely loves this guy. But the fact is, she will see him again very soon, because although he's retreating from the world, it's the Hermit thing, and he will be back. And Alice, in this deck, is on a journey into womanhood, as I've said many times, which is a kind of parallel for the spiritual journey that we're all involved in here, friends. And what she's not seeing is that she'll see the Hermit. He's actually the Knight of Cups, this character. She'll see him again. But by then she'll have grown into a woman, so things will never be quite the same again. That's a fact, and it's rather a poignant fact, right? I think about when my children were small, I was keenly aware they'd grow up and it wouldn't be quite so much fun then, and all very sad thinking about that. But life is change, friends, and good things come along to replace good things that move out of our lives. And thinking about that analogy of my daughter, you see, they've never, I've got 2 of them, by the way, and they've never moved out of my life, ever. It's just that they've moved out of my house and they live somewhere else, and it doesn't feel so good. But we're in touch, and it actually feels quite good in that sense. So we're just looking at a shift of where the good feelings come from, where the good vibrations come from. create your own path. I'll come back to it again. Create your own path. That is so important, friends. But the Hermit is here. It's number 9. It's a number just before completion. So this, taking that break, taking that rest is really going to allow you to make room for that good energy and to let the Ace of Pentacles alchemy thing happen and get stuck in and really become real. Because this is a beautiful card here to get in any reading. Really, really positive, verdant. Do people even know what that word means? It means green, kind of green and fruity and luscious. Green, fruity, luscious vegetation all over the place. I might even say low-hanging fruit, but there isn't any on that card. There are some wild flowers growing, though, which could be picked and which would probably have all kinds of wonderful medicinal properties. Okay, so let's move on to card number 3, the last card in this reading at the summer solstice for all signs. I'm doing it the summer solstice 2019, but the best time to watch these, friends, is when you're drawn to watch it. I keep saying it because it keeps on being true. Okay, and what we've got here is number 8, strength. Right, and I've got some more significance for that already, because just as I was pulling that card, my hand sort of nudged against this. It's my lepidolite stone, which I got from Remy Precious. It's really good stone, lepidolite, and it helps to absorb computer vibrations, helps to kind of protect us from that, and I believe it makes the internet work better, but that's just what I think. And so for some reason I was drawn to that as we got the strength card, and because this stone, see, allows us to be a stronger presence on the web because it absorbs the bad vibes, the EMF that gets in the way so badly of so many people. Many people say they can't do psychic stuff on the internet. They might be brilliant mediums and say, oh, I can't really do it on the internet. Well, if that's you guys, try this lepidolite. I'm not guaranteeing it works, and a hefty amount of hematite somewhere along the line helps. A bit of garnet does no harm. If you can see, that's my bit of garnet there. I really love it. I wear that all the time to ground negativity, because there is always negativity in the world, friends. And number 8 here, the strength card. We've got the 8, so the feeling of eternity, the feeling of as above, so below, bringing in spirit guidance and angelic help. But also here we've got strength. And what have we got to be strong about? Something to do with EMF, I think, or computer action. But, you know, whether you're a computer person or not, we live in a world that is actually pretty much governed by computers now. Just about everything has one. Can't drive a car without the computer kicking in, and I don't know, does it tell the military exactly where your car is? Something like that, I don't know, but it does a lot of things that are nothing to do with actually driving a car. Stray energy everywhere, and that's what we need the strength for, friends, to cut through that stray energy, actually get to the meaning, get to the picture, and get to the truth. Another card popped out. I was just shuffling generally in my hand. Another card popped out. We've got the Knight of Wands here. Isn't that just Leo energy, friends? This is an all signs reading, but we're looking at Leo energy right here. And so it's not just for Leos, but it is saying kind of, you know, be a little bit more out there if you can be. The lion in the character here, he's got his wand there, and although there's only one wand in the picture, he is kind of quite a senior wands character. He's above the page and before the queen. So there's a lot going on there, but he's only got one wand. This shows that progress could be a little bit slow, because the wands are pretty much in the zone of progress and making decisions. So there is progress happening, but not all that much of it. To speed things up a bit, we need to appeal to the kind of the Leo side and the good side of this character as well. And we've got to show our good side, and we've got to show true intent. So this is be straight with yourself, be honest with yourself, because that is where strength comes from, friends. Within you, within me. It's an inner thing, it really is. There are many things we can do in this world to build up our strength, but you know, even if that's like going to a gym, joining the forces, whatever that is, we actually are the one who's made that decision, you know, so it is a personal thing. I joined the Royal Air Force and I had to do absolutely everything they told me. No messing about with that, really, you know. You can imagine you join the forces, you've got to do as you're told, haven't you? And that's the way it went. But I decided to join the forces, so in a sense I was in control right through the training, because it was what I wanted to do. Yeah, and if you ever watch these kind of recruit programs where they're like showing, there's loads of British ones out there about kind of the Royal Marines and the Lifeguards, the Grenadiers, all those regiments. And they're all having a pretty bad time as they go through the training, because it's meant to stretch people until they break, and then they break, and then they get it together. And as they break and get it together, it's nearly always the case that it's come clear to them that they chose this path because they wanted it. And actually they could succeed at it, they could make progress, and they usually do. Now then, I'm not a big fan of the armed forces anywhere in the world, just because it's about killing people. But, you know, I realise for many of us it's a necessary evil. If I think of World War II in Britain, there was a point in time when it looked like the Nazis were definitely going to come across the channel. It's this big hand of evil was going to come across the English channel from France, and we would have been screwed. We would have been taken over by Nazis. It probably wouldn't have lasted 5 minutes, but, you know, I wonder how many millions of British people would have died if that hand of evil had made it. So I'm damn glad we had the armed forces there. Okay, I'm a pacifist to the core of me, but... you know, I've been in the forces. I think I understand why we need to have the armed forces. If you're watching this in the forces, by the way, God bless you. Big thumbs up from me. Right, so I'm shuffling here and I'm asking for another card. This is going to be the last card in this all signs reading for the summer solstice, June the 21st, 2019. You can watch it whenever you want to. And it is boundaries. There we go. Take a look at that. I've got to just take a look at it myself. Where do you need to establish better boundaries? Right. Now, this really gives a lot of meaning to the strength card, does it not? See all these hands reaching out to get to this lady, to use her kind of magical powers, whatever it is. None of these people realise, all these hands are coming from people who don't realise that you get spiritual magic within yourself. There's no point trying to take it from somebody else. Sometimes I get people asking for readings that no psychic or no medium would really be able to do justice to. But people have looked at me and think, oh, you know, he's got the psychic insight there. Let's kind of take the energy from him. Well, friends, the energy is within all of you. And what I try to do on this channel always is to support you in your journey, whatever that is. It doesn't matter whether you do something I approve of or don't approve of. It's given, you know, freely. It's given openly. But people will try and grab more, you know. And people would just... I stopped advertising my PayPal, right? Because people would send money to PayPal, demand something from me. I'd have to send the money back. Pain in the neck, pain in the neck. Right, be you guys and be very, very strong. When this card comes in, it actually indicates that there is strength around, but it was the last card in this 3-card spread. So it's kind of a different feeling there. It's a feeling that there is actually strength there, actually going on, but that we need to do something to bring it forward. Okay. Now this chap looks like he could very easily bring just about anything forward. The Knight of Wands there, and he shows us a fast moving horse, you know. If you're ready to move, it's like into the back of a fast car and, you know, you're off to a fast horse and you're off to the next destination. And set those boundaries, guys. Don't be put upon. That's what I have had to do with this channel, and in terms of doing paid psychic readings. Really had to set boundaries in a big way, and it's made a big difference. It kind of sets you free. It's a creative discipline, see? That's the thing, creative discipline. Now I know why I was going on and on about the forces, okay? Forget the army, forget the navy, forget the RAF, the Air Force, whatever. I'm talking about natural forces, you know, because we actually all live with natural forces. And in terms of establishing boundaries, now I'm seeing it, this guy looks a little bit like a soldier. Because he's a big help, but you wouldn't want to mess with him, would you? But he's very strong, you see. And strength is what it's all about. It doesn't have to be any particular form of strength, as long as it's your strength, friends. Because we are all different, and yet we are all one. Why is that? Because... my opinion of the divine, I'm sorry if it doesn't, you know, true up with your opinion of the divine. I'm just saying, because this is what I believe. God came to the earth as a glass ball, like a glass ball, hit the earth and shattered, and we are the fragments, constantly trying to come back together and get on with each other, despite all the kind of, what's the word, discrepancies, the disparateness between us all. That is massive, but that is a fact of life that comes to us in this world. It's a worldly thing, you know. But let me come back to something that I often mention in this deck. When you take the cards and the book out of Rebecca Campbell's work, your light deck, you find this triangle and it says you are the oracle. A triangle it's pointing up, so it's positive. Also, right, wherever you come to a point, and there are 3 points in any triangle, wherever you come to a point, that is where energy builds up. You know, so it's no good kind of being moribund and kind of down to earth about things. It's very, very important to be grounded. There are good reasons for grounding. People often think that spiritual teachers tell you to ground yourself and you just never get anywhere. But no, in order to really fly to the higher realms, we need to be grounded, because in terms of flying to the higher realms, the information we seek, the love we seek, the support, the comfort, the health that we seek, the healing that we seek, is something that we're drawing down to this earth, to ourselves, which we're allowed to do. You know, we're not debasing it in any way. That energy is there for us, you know. So keep grounded, keep protected, because it looks to me like things are going well. What I really like is, as I look down at my table here, Saint Germain is right in the middle of it. So I'm going to take this as the most significant card in this reading, guys. Saint Germain, karma releasing, move beyond drama, create your own path. Make room for good energy. Make room for good energy, friends. That's the main thing that's come out of this reading. So it is the summer solstice. It's the turning of the year. It actually isn't today, but by the time you're watching this, it will be. And so it's going to be the shortest night, basically. And I must admit, I don't mind too much when the nights get a bit darker. Very hard to sleep in broad daylight, I find. And it was broad daylight here in West Wales till kind of getting on for 10:30 p.m, something like that. Could be even later than that tonight, because it's a cloudless, beautiful cloudless sunny sky out there. And I hope, friends, that wherever you are in the world, your solstice will bring you a beautiful cloudless sunny sky, whether that's out there in the atmosphere, or whether it's in your own heart, in your own mind, in your third eye. Keep that third eye open, friends. Now then, I'm sorry I haven't done individual videos. There are actually, I've got Aries, Taurus, Gemini and Cancer. I've got as far as Cancer, but there's been internet problems and stuff. If you've ever used the Splice GoPro video editing app, and this isn't a GoPro, by the way, but they let you use the app, they've just changed it, and I can't make head and tail of it. So there we go, normal service will be resumed. Meanwhile, friends, I hope you've enjoyed this reading for all signs for the summer solstice 2019. Have a fantastic solstice. The year is turning, so be set to go in a new direction. Always be open to positive change. That's my advice. Have a good one, friends. I'll see you again soon. Peace.